Rain hammered against the cafe windows, turning the city outside into a watercolor blur. Sophia pressed her phone against her ear, mascara smudging beneath her eyes. Please, Marcus. Just show up. 1 hour. That's all I'm asking. Static crackled through the line. Her brother's voice came through slurred, distant. Can't do it, sis. Got somewhere else to be. The call died. Sophia stared at the empty chair across from her. Table for 2. Reservation under her brother's name. The woman he was supposed to meet would arrive any minute, and Marcus had bailed again, choosing his addiction over responsibility like he always did. She should leave. Walk out. Let this stranger figure it out herself. But Sophia knew what it felt like to wait for someone who never came. The cafe door chimed. A woman entered, shaking rain from a designer coat that probably cost more than Sophia's monthly salary as a hospice nurse. Everything about her screamed wealth. Diamond earrings. Perfectly styled hair. Shoes that had never touched a puddle. The woman's eyes swept the cafe, landed on Sophia, then the empty chair. Sophia stood before she could stop herself. Are you here to meet Marcus? The woman's face shifted, relief flooding her features. Yes, I'm Victoria. She extended a manicured hand. You must be him. Sophia's breath caught. Victoria thought she was Marcus. She should correct this. Explain. Apologize. But something in Victoria's expression held her frozen. Beneath the polished exterior, Sophia saw it. Loneliness. The kind that wore expensive clothes to hide how empty it felt inside. I'm Marcus, Sophia heard herself say. Victoria's smile was genuine, transformative. She sat down, and Sophia did too, her heart hammering against her ribs. Thank you for agreeing to this, Victoria said, fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup. I know meeting a stranger for your sister must seem strange. My sister? Sophia. Victoria's eyes softened. She told me you've been struggling. That you needed work, a fresh start. I run a foundation. We help people rebuild their lives. She paused. I wanted to meet you first. See if you were serious about changing. Sophia's stomach dropped. Marcus had used her name, her life, her struggle to care for him as bait for charity he'd never intended to accept. I am, Sophia whispered, the lie burning her throat. I want to change everything. Victoria studied her for a long moment. Then she reached across the table, her hand covering Sophia's. The touch was warm, unexpected. I believe you, Victoria said. And Sophia realized with creeping horror that she wanted Victoria to keep believing it. 2 hours dissolved like sugar in rain. They talked about everything and nothing. Victoria spoke of her foundation with passion, of the people she'd helped, the lives she'd touched. Sophia listened, watched the way Victoria's guard slowly lowered, revealing someone fragile beneath the armor. Can I ask you something personal? Victoria's voice dropped. Why no? What made you reach out after all this time? Sophia thought of Marcus, unconscious in some basement with a needle in his arm. Of herself, exhausted from double shifts and broken promises. Because I'm tired of being invisible, she said. The truth, even wrapped in lies. Victoria's eyes glistened. I know exactly what you mean. Outside, the rain had stopped. City lights reflected in puddles like shattered stars. I'd like to see you again, Victoria said as they stood to leave. Not for the foundation. Just for this. Sophia's phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from the hospital. Marcus had been admitted. Overdose. She looked at Victoria, at the hope written across her beautiful face, and made a choice that would destroy them both. I'd like that too. They exchanged numbers. Victoria's fingers lingered against Sophia's for a heartbeat too long. As Victoria disappeared into the night in a black car with a driver, Sophia stood on the sidewalk, rain beginning to fall again. She'd lied to a stranger. She'd stolen her brother's chance at redemption. And the worst part was, she wanted to do it again. 3 weeks of careful deception. 3 weeks of stolen afternoons in art galleries where Victoria's world and Sophia's lies intersected. They stood before a painting of a shipwreck, waves frozen in oil and chaos. Beautiful, isn't it? Victoria murmured. How something so violent can look so peaceful. Sophia watched Victoria's reflection in the glass. She'd learned things. Victoria ran a billion-dollar empire inherited from parents who died in a plane crash. She lived alone in a penthouse. She trusted no one. Except, apparently, the person she thought was Marcus. "Can I confess something?" Victoria turned, her shoulder brushing Sophia's. The gallery was empty, their voices echoing off marble floors. "Anything. I've never felt this comfortable with anyone." Victoria's laugh was bitter. "Everyone wants something. Money, status, access. But you." She met Sophia's eyes. "You just want to be here." Guilt twisted in Sophia's chest like a blade. "Victoria, I need to tell you something." "Wait." Victoria's hand found hers. "Before you do, I need to say this. I'm falling for you." The world tilted. Sophia's phone shattered the moment, buzzing violently. Marcus. She'd been ignoring his calls since the hospital released him. "Excuse me," she whispered, stepping into the gallery's marble hallway. "Where the hell have you been?" Marcus's voice was raw, angry. "Victoria Chen's people called. Said I missed the intake appointment. Said Marcus never showed." "What did you do, Sophia?" Her blood turned cold. "I was trying to help you." "Help me? You stole my shot at getting clean." "You're pretending to be me, aren't you? Playing dress up with some rich woman's feelings." "It's not like that." "Then what's it like?" His laugh was cruel. "You're just as much of a liar as I am. Maybe we're more alike than you thought." He hung up. Sophia stood in the hallway, her reflection fractured in the glass doors. Marcus was right. She'd become exactly what she'd always feared. When she returned, Victoria was gone. A security guard approached. "Miss Chen asked me to give you this." He handed her a keycard. An address written in elegant script on the back. She said to come tonight. 8 o'clock. The penthouse was everything Sophia imagined and nothing she was prepared for. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city like a kingdom of light. Victoria stood by the glass, wearing something simple, her hair down for the first time. "I've never brought anyone here," Victoria said without turning. "This is where I stop performing. Where I stop being the heiress, the CEO, the perfect daughter everyone expects." She finally looked at Sophia. Vulnerable. Open. "I want you to see the real me." Sophia's heart cracked. "Victoria." "No, please." Victoria crossed the space between them. "I know what you were going to say at the gallery. That this is moving too fast. That you're not ready." Her hands cupped Sophia's face. "I don't care. I've spent my entire life being careful. Being alone. I don't want to be alone anymore." The kiss was inevitable. Devastating. Sophia tasted salt. Couldn't tell if it was from Victoria's tears or her own. They stumbled toward the bedroom, shedding lies and clothes in equal measure. And for a few hours, Sophia let herself forget. Forget that she was living a fiction. Forget that every touch was built on deception. Forget that when the truth came, it would destroy everything. Afterward, they lay tangled in sheets that cost more than Sophia's car. Victoria traced patterns on her skin. "Stay," Victoria whispered. "Move in with me. Let me help you start over for real." Sophia's throat closed. "I can't." "Why not?" "Because you don't know who I really am." Victoria propped herself up on one elbow, eyes searching. "Then tell me. Tell me everything." This was it. The moment to confess. To save them both from the inevitable collapse. Sophia opened her mouth. Her phone erupted with calls. The hospital. Marcus's name flashing across the screen again and again. She answered. "Ms. Reyes? Your brother's been in an accident. You need to come now. He's asking for you." Victoria sat up, concern flooding her face. "What's wrong?" Sophia looked at the woman she'd lied to, fallen for, betrayed. At the moment suspended between truth and ruin. "I have to go," she said, already reaching for her clothes. "It's my brother. He needs me." Victoria's expression shifted. Confusion. Then something else. "Your brother." Victoria's voice went very quiet. "I thought you were an only child." "That's what your file said." Sophia froze, one arm in her jacket. "What file?" Victoria rose from the bed, wrapping herself in a silk robe. When she turned back, the vulnerability was gone. In its place was something cold, calculating. The background check I ran on Marcus Reyes. Victoria's smile didn't reach her eyes. The one that came back 3 days ago. The one that said Marcus Reyes is currently in court-ordered rehab across the state. The floor dropped out from under Sophia's world. "So I'll ask you one more time," Victoria said, each word sharp as glass. "Who are you?" The silence between them was a living thing, breathing, growing, suffocating. Sophia stood half-dressed in a stranger's bedroom, caught in the spotlight of truth. Victoria waited by the window, backlit by the city, her face unreadable. "I'm Sophia." The words came out broken. "Sophia Reyes. Marcus is my brother." "I know who Marcus is." Victoria's voice was ice. "I asked who you are." "I'm a hospice nurse. I work at St. Catherine's. I live in a studio apartment in Riverside. I have student debt I'll never pay off." Sophia's hands shook as she buttoned her shirt. "I'm nobody." "Nobody." Victoria repeated the word like it tasted bitter. "So nobody decided to impersonate someone, infiltrate my life, sleep in my bed." She turned, and Sophia saw it then. Not anger. Hurt. Was any of it real? Or was this just some elaborate con? It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Then how was it supposed to happen, Sophia? Victoria's composure cracked. "Did you plan to rob me? Blackmail me? Or was sleeping with me just a bonus?" "No." Sophia crossed the room, desperate. "Marcus was supposed to meet you. He bailed. I saw you walk in and I just wanted to help. I was going to explain, but then we started talking and you were so what? Lonely." Sophia's voice broke. "Like me." Victoria laughed, sharp and humorless. "So this is my fault? I was too pathetic, too desperate for connection, and you just couldn't help yourself." "That's not what I meant." "Get out. Victoria, please. Get out." The words echoed off glass and chrome. Sophia grabbed her jacket, her phone, her shame. She made it to the elevator before the tears came. The doors closed on Victoria's penthouse, on the fantasy, on the first real thing Sophia had felt in years. Her phone buzzed. The hospital again. Marcus was in ICU. Critical condition. The accident had been a relapse, a car wrapped around a telephone pole. And he was asking for her, crying for her, the only person who'd never given up on him. Even when she should have. Sophia rode the elevator down 53 floors, each one a countdown to reality. She made it to the hospital at midnight. Marcus looked small in the bed, tubes running from his arms, monitors beeping a rhythm that said he was still here, still fighting, still her responsibility. "I'm sorry." His voice was barely a whisper. "I ruined it again, didn't I?" Sophia took his hand, the same hand she'd held when they were kids, when their parents left, when the world became just the two of them against everything. "We ruined it together," she said. She stayed through the night. Dozed in an uncomfortable chair. Woke to nurses changing shifts and Marcus breathing steadily, finally at peace. Her phone had 17 missed calls. All from unknown numbers. The last message was from Victoria's assistant. "Miss Chin would like to see you. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. The foundation office. Come alone." Sophia stared at the message until the screen went dark. She arrived at the foundation office 15 minutes early, wearing her nurse's scrubs because she had nothing else clean. The building was glass and steel, Victoria's name carved into marble by the entrance. The assistant led her to a conference room on the 20th floor. Victoria sat at the head of a long table, flanked by 2 men in expensive suits. "Sit," Victoria said. Sophia sat. One of the men slid a folder across the table. "We've compiled everything. Your employment history. Your brother's record. Your financial situation." He opened the folder. 60,000 in student debt. 3 maxed-out credit cards. An eviction notice from 2 months ago that you fought in court. Sophia's face burned. "We also found this." The other man produced a photograph. Sophia and Marcus as children, smiling, whole. "You've been his guardian since you were 19. Gave up a scholarship to nursing school to work full-time. Put him through 3 separate rehab programs on a salary that barely covers rent." "What is this?" Sophia's voice shook. Victoria leaned forward. This is me trying to understand. Trying to figure out if you're a con artist or just desperate. Does it matter? Yes. Victoria's eyes met hers. It matters to me. The room fell silent. I could press charges, Victoria continued. Identity fraud. Deception. I have lawyers who could bury you. Then do it. Sophia stood. I lied to you. I used you. I deserve whatever you throw at me. Sit down. No. Sophia grabbed her bag. You want to punish me? Fine. But don't make me sit here and listen to you detail all the ways I failed. I already know them. I live them every single day. She made it to the door before Victoria spoke again. I knew. Sophia froze. I knew after the second date. The background check came back and I knew you weren't Marcus. Victoria's voice cracked. But I didn't care. Because for the first time in 10 years, someone looked at me and didn't see dollar signs. Didn't see opportunity. Just saw me. Sophia turned slowly. Victoria stood now, her armor finally, completely shattered. So I kept the lie going too, Victoria whispered. I wanted to see how long it would last. How long before you told me the truth? How long before I had to admit that I fell for someone who didn't exist? The confession hung between them like smoke. We're both liars, Sophia said. Yes. We're both broken. Yes. So, what do we do now? Victoria crossed the room, stood inches away. I have a proposal. Business, not personal. I'm listening. Your brother needs long-term care. Real rehabilitation, not court-ordered. I can provide that. Victoria's jaw tightened. In exchange, you work for me. My foundation. You help people like your brother. People the system gave up on. Why would you do this? Because despite everything, I believe you meant what you said. About wanting to change. About being tired of being invisible. Victoria's hand trembled as she reached up, almost touching Sophia's face, then pulling back. And because I'm selfish enough to want you close. Even if it destroys us both. Sophia's breath caught. This is insane. Probably. We'll hurt each other. Definitely. I'll take it, Sophia said. Victoria's smile was sad, knowing. Then we have a deal. They shook hands. Professional. Distant. But when their skin touched, electricity sparked. A reminder of what they'd had for 3 perfect weeks. What they'd both thrown away. Victoria pulled back first. My assistant will send you the contract. You start Monday. Sophia nodded, turned to leave. Sophia? She looked back. Don't make me regret this, Victoria said softly. Too late, Sophia replied. We already do. The door closed between them with a soft click. And both women stood on opposite sides, wondering if salvation and destruction ever looked different from each other. 6 months of careful distance. 6 months of working side by side while pretending their skin didn't remember each other. Sophia stood in the Foundation's rehabilitation center, watching Marcus through observation glass. He was laughing with his counselor, color back in his cheeks, life returning to his eyes. Victoria's private program had saved him. He's doing well. Victoria's voice came from behind her. Close enough to feel. Far enough to hurt. Thanks to you, Sophia said without turning. Thanks to us. They stood in silence, watching Marcus. The unspoken words between them had grown so heavy the air felt thick with them. The gala is tomorrow night, Victoria said finally. I need you there. Some donors want to meet the program director. I'm not comfortable with those events. I know. Victoria moved closer, her reflection appearing in the glass beside Sophia's. But I need you anyway. Their eyes met in the reflection. For a moment, neither looked away. Sophia broke first. I'll be there. The gala was everything Sophia hated. Crystal chandeliers. Designer gowns. Fake smiles over champagne glasses. Victoria had sent a dress to her apartment. Black, elegant, probably cost more than Sophia made in a month. It fit perfectly. Sophia found Victoria surrounded by admirers, holding court like the queen she was. Their eyes met across the ballroom, and Victoria excused herself, cutting through the crowd with purpose. You came, Victoria said, her gaze sweeping over Sophia in a way that made her skin burn. You asked. I did. Victoria's hand brushed Sophia's arm, barely there, gone too quickly. Come. There's someone I want you to meet. She led Sophia to a corner where a man stood, silver-haired, sharp-eyed, radiating power. Sophia, this is Richard Chin. My uncle. The man extended his hand. His grip was firm, assessing. So you're the woman who's been revolutionizing my niece's foundation. Just doing my job, Sophia replied. Richard studied her. Victoria speaks very highly of you. Says you have vision. Integrity. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Rare qualities these days. Something in his tone set Sophia's nerves on edge. Uncle Richard is on the board, Victoria explained. He's been instrumental in expanding our programs. Indeed. Richard sipped his champagne. In fact, I'd like to discuss an opportunity with you, Ms. Reyes. Privately. Perhaps Monday morning? My office. Sophia glanced at Victoria, whose expression had gone carefully blank. Of course, Sophia agreed. Richard excused himself, disappearing into the crowd. What was that about? Sophia asked. I don't know. Victoria's jaw tightened. But be careful. Richard doesn't do anything without an agenda. The rest of the night passed in a blur of introductions and small talk. Sophia found herself watching Victoria move through the crowd, brilliant and untouchable, and wondered if they'd ever find their way back to that cafe in the rain. When the gala ended, Victoria caught her arm in the lobby. Stay, she whispered. Please. Just for a drink. No expectations. Just us. Sophia knew she should say no. Should maintain the distance they'd so carefully constructed. One drink, she agreed. They ended up on Victoria's penthouse terrace. The city spread below them like scattered stars. Victoria poured expensive scotch into 2 glasses, her hands shaking slightly. I hate these events, Victoria admitted, kicking off her heels. The performance. The pretending. You're good at it. Years of practice. Victoria settled into a chair, tucking her legs beneath her. My mother started training me when I was 5. How to smile. How to charm. How to make people give you what you want without them realizing it. Sounds lonely. It was. Victoria looked at her. Until you. The air between them shifted, charged. Victoria, we can't. I know. Victoria set down her glass, stood. Crossed to where Sophia sat. But I'm tired of pretending I don't want to. The kiss was different this time. Slower. Sadder. Tasting of goodbye and maybe and all the words they couldn't say. They made it to the bedroom. Stripped away the evening's armor. Found each other again in the dark, desperate and tender and completely ruinous. Afterward, Sophia lay awake while Victoria slept against her shoulder. Her phone glowed on the nightstand. A message from an unknown number. Monday, 9 a.m. Come alone. There's something you need to know about Victoria Chin. It was from Richard. Sophia stared at the message until her eyes burned. Monday morning arrived cold and gray. Richard's office occupied the top floor of Chin Industries headquarters. His assistant led Sophia into a room that was all dark wood and old money. Richard sat behind his desk, a folder open in front of him. Ms. Reyes. Thank you for coming. Sophia remained standing. What do you want? Direct. I like that. Richard leaned back. Tell me, how much do you know about Victoria's parents? They died in a plane crash. 10 years ago. That's the official story. Richard slid a photograph across the desk. The truth is more complicated. Sophia looked at the photo. Victoria, younger, tear-stained, standing beside 2 caskets. They were flying to testify. Federal investigation. Chin Industries was accused of embezzlement, fraud, environmental violations. Richard's voice was clinical. The plane went down the night before they were supposed to appear in court. Sophia's blood ran cold. You're saying it wasn't an accident. I'm saying Victoria inherited an empire built on lies. And she's spent the last decade trying to atone for sins that weren't hers. He pulled out another document, including creating a foundation that's been hemorrhaging money. Millions poured into programs that don't generate returns. She's bankrupting herself trying to save people. Why are you telling me this? Richard's smile was sharp. Because the board is forcing her out. In 2 weeks, she'll lose control of both the company and the foundation. He leaned forward. Unless she accepts my offer. Marry my son. Merge our families. Secure her legacy. Sophia's world tilted. She'd never agree to that. She already has. Richard produced a contract, Victoria's signature at the bottom. Signed it 3 days ago. The engagement will be announced this Friday. The folder fell from Sophia's hands, papers scattering across expensive carpet. Why are you showing me this? Because Victoria is making decisions based on guilt, not strategy. She's sacrificing her happiness for some misguided sense of responsibility. Richard stood, walking to the window. I thought perhaps you might talk sense into her. Make her see that some things aren't worth saving. Sophia's hands clenched into fists. You want me to convince her to abandon everything she's built. I want you to convince her to save herself. Richard turned. The foundation will collapse with or without her. The company is already failing. She's throwing good money after bad, and it's going to destroy her. Or maybe she actually cares about helping people. Caring doesn't pay the bills, Ms. Reyes. Richard's expression hardened. And it won't save your brother when the foundation shuts down next month. His treatment costs $40,000 a month. Where will that money come from when Victoria has nothing left? The words hit like physical blows. You're using Marcus as leverage. I'm presenting facts. Richard returned to his desk. Victoria is drowning. You can help her survive, or you can watch her go under. Choose wisely. Sophia left without another word. She made it to her car before the shaking started. Before the tears came. Before the truth settled into her bones like poison. Victoria had made a choice. Sacrificed her freedom to save the foundation. To save Marcus. To save Sophia. And Sophia had been too blind to see it coming. Her phone rang. Victoria. Where are you? Victoria's voice was strained. We need to talk. I know about the engagement, Sophia said flatly. Silence. Richard told you. Not a question. When were you going to mention it? Before or after the wedding? Sophia, please. Let me explain. Explain what? That you're selling yourself to save a foundation that's already dying? That you made this choice without telling me? Without giving us a chance? There is no us, Victoria's voice cracked. There never was. We both know that. The words cut deeper than any blade. You're right, Sophia whispered. There's just two broken people who thought lying to each other could fix something. Sophia, wait. But Sophia had already hung up. She drove to the rehabilitation center. Found Marcus in his room, healthy, hopeful, alive. Because Victoria had saved him. Hey, Marcus smiled. Wasn't expecting you today. Sophia sat on the edge of his bed, took his hand. What's wrong? He asked. And Sophia realized she had a choice to make. The same impossible choice Victoria had made. Save the person she loved, or save herself. There was only ever one answer. The engagement party was scheduled for Friday night. Sophia had 3 days to decide who she wanted to be. She spent them working. Burying herself in case files, intake interviews, anything to keep her mind from the image of Victoria in a wedding dress, walking toward a future that would kill her slowly from the inside. On Thursday night, Marcus called her into his room. I'm checking myself out, he said. Sophia's heart stopped. What? Why? You're doing so well. Because you're destroying yourself to keep me here. Marcus's eyes were clear, focused. Sober. I heard the nurses talking. About the foundation closing. About Ms. Chen's engagement. He took Sophia's hand. About you. This isn't about me. It's always been about you. Marcus's grip tightened. You gave up everything for me. Your scholarship. Your dreams. Your chance at happiness. And I let you because I was too weak to save myself. Marcus. I'm not weak anymore. He stood, started packing his few belongings. I'm going to a state program. It's not as nice, but it's enough. And it means you can stop sacrificing yourself for everyone else. Sophia's vision blurred with tears. You'll relapse. Maybe. Marcus pulled her into a hug. Or maybe I'll finally learn to stand on my own. Either way, it's my choice. Not yours. He left the next morning. Sophia watched his taxi disappear, feeling like she'd lost a limb. And then she drove to Victoria's penthouse. The assistant tried to stop her. Miss Chen is preparing for this evening. Sophia walked past her anyway. She found Victoria standing in front of a mirror wearing an engagement dress the color of blood. A stylist fussed with her hair while a makeup artist worked on her face. "Everyone out," Sophia said. Victoria's eyes met hers in the reflection. "Leave us," she told her team. When they were alone, silence filled the space where words should be. "You look beautiful," Sophia said finally. "I look like I'm going to my execution." Victoria turned from the mirror. "What are you doing here?" "Stopping you from making the biggest mistake of your life." Victoria laughed, sharp and broken. "And what would you have me do instead? Let the foundation collapse? Let everyone who depends on it fall through the cracks? Let your brother." Marcus checked himself out. "He's in a state program now." Victoria's face went pale. "What?" "He made a choice. To stop letting me destroy myself saving him." Sophia crossed the room. "Now I'm making one too." "Sophia, shut down the foundation." Victoria stared at her like she'd spoken a foreign language. "What?" "Shut it down. Sell the company. Take whatever money is left and start over." Sophia's hands shook. "Stop trying to atone for sins that were never yours." "I can't." Victoria's voice cracked. "Those people need help. They need someone who's not dying inside." Sophia grabbed Victoria's hands. "You've spent 10 years trying to fix your parents' mistakes. Trying to prove you're different. Better. But you're not saving anyone if you're sacrificing yourself to do it." Tears streamed down Victoria's face, ruining the makeup. "If I walk away, everything they built, everything I've tried to make right, will still be broken." Sophia's thumbs brushed across Victoria's knuckles. "Some things can't be fixed. Some legacies aren't worth carrying. I signed a contract. Break it. I'll lose everything." "No." Sophia pulled Victoria closer. "You'll lose the weight of expectations that were never meant for you. You'll lose the guilt that's been killing you. You'll lose a future that would have destroyed you." Victoria's breath hitched. "What if I can't do it? What if I'm not strong enough? Then I'll be strong enough for both of us." Sophia's forehead pressed against Victoria's. "But you have to choose. Him or this. The lie or the truth. Survival or life." For a long moment, Victoria stood frozen. Then she stepped back, reached behind her neck, and unfastened the diamond necklace. It fell to the floor with a sound like breaking glass. "I need a phone," she said. She called Richard first. "The engagement is off. I'm shutting down the company. You can fight me in court if you want, but you'll lose." Then her lawyers. "Liquidate everything. The company, the properties, all of it. Set up trust funds for the foundation's current clients to continue their care. Whatever's left, I'll take in cash." Finally, her assistant. "Cancel the party. Release a statement. Say I'm stepping down to pursue personal interests." When she hung up, she looked 10 years younger and infinitely more terrified. "I just destroyed my entire life," she whispered. "No," Sophia said. "You just started it." They left the penthouse together, Victoria still in her red dress, Sophia in jeans and a t-shirt. No security. No driver. Just two women walking out into a world that suddenly felt enormous and possible. "Where do we go?" Victoria asked as they stood on the street, rain beginning to fall. Sophia thought of Marcus, choosing himself. Of Victoria, finally letting go. Of all the lies they'd told and truths they'd hidden. "I don't know," she admitted. "Somewhere neither of us has been before." Victoria's hand found hers. "I'm scared." "Me too." "I might fail." "Probably." "I might hate it." "Definitely." Sophia squeezed her hand. "But at least you'll be alive to hate it." Victoria laughed, the sound raw and genuine. "That's the worst pep talk I've ever heard. I'm a nurse, not a motivational speaker." They started walking. No destination. No plan. Just movement forward. "I love you," Victoria said suddenly. "I need you to know that. Whatever happens next, I love you." Sophia stopped, turned Victoria to face her. Rain soaked them both, washing away makeup and pretense and everything that didn't matter. "I love you too," Sophia said. "I loved you when I was lying. I loved you when we were hurting each other. I love you now, standing in the rain with nothing left to lose." "We're insane," Victoria murmured. "Completely." They kissed in the middle of the sidewalk while the city moved around them. It tasted like rain and ruin and the terrifying freedom of finally telling the truth. When they pulled apart, Victoria was smiling. Really smiling. "What now?" she asked. Sophia thought about it. About Marcus finding his own way. About Victoria burning down an empire to save herself. About two people who'd started with lies and somehow stumbled into something real. "Now we figure out who we are when we're not trying to save anyone," Sophia said. "Even each other?" "Especially each other." They walked through the rain until they found a diner. Cheap coffee and vinyl booths and fluorescent lights that flickered. Nothing like the places they'd met before. Perfect. Victoria ordered pancakes. Sophia got eggs. They sat across from each other, soaked and shivering and completely free. "What if this doesn't work?" Victoria asked quietly. "What if we fall apart?" "Then we fall apart honestly," Sophia replied. "No more lies. No more sacrifices. Just two people trying." "Just two people trying," Victoria repeated. She reached across the table. "I can do that." Their hands met in the middle. No performance. No pretense. Just skin on skin and breath matching breath and the terrifying, beautiful risk of choosing each other anyway. Outside, the rain had stopped. The city gleamed with reflected light, washed clean and new. And inside, two women who'd built a relationship on lies learned what it meant to love in truth. It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be perfect. There would be scars and setbacks and moments when the weight of what they'd given up felt crushing. But they would face it together. Not as savior and saved. Not as rich and poor. Not as the people they'd pretended to be. Just as Sophia and Victoria. Flawed. Frightened. Free. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was everything. The end.